Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday to you today. It's Hillary, the marketing mom. Glad you're able to join me this afternoon. I said good morning. Sorry, it's morning somewhere. But good afternoon. This is the Ready Set Grow Show. And yes, I'm getting a little controversial, especially being, for those of you who know, an alumni of one of the most powerful female schools in Trinidad and Tobago. Anyway, the reality is our society is faced with a little challenge, a little problem. And it's not just our society, it's really a global crisis, all right? And it's beyond the problems that we're seeing with the pandemic. And that's how society is spiraling out of control. Why am I talking about this today? All right. I'm the marketing mom, right? But I'm a mom and I see a lot of challenges with parents, with children growing up but not being raised. And the reality is, we have a huge problem. We have a problem where mothers are not home. And feminists, shoot me, whatever you want to do. But the reality is, mothers are better suited to be at home. If you're not a mom and you're a nice, female, single female, great. But when we bring children into the world, we're there to raise them, we're there to parent them, and we're there to bring them up to better society. And when you take the mothers out of the home and you force them to work in dead end jobs, and then they come home tired, and the only thing they could think about is feeding the children, doing their homework, and getting them in bed so that they could get a rest to do it all over again the next day, all right? What you end up having is generations upon generations of children growing up, because their bodies are going to grow up and they're going to get big and they're going to go out there into society and wreak havoc on society because they've never been raised, because mom didn't have the time to do that. And I know it's a very touchy subject because we're living in a time where most women are out, and we're living in a time where women fought for that right to work outside of the home. And I get it, I understand it. But as a woman and as a mother, I see I can do more benefit for society, not in a job outside there, but the job that I was blessed to do, the job that, God gave me that gift to have children. Let's take care of them. Right now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's a little controversial. But you know what? We've seen where the kids of parents who have the mother at home, they end up being far better adults in society than the mothers who've had to struggle and try to balance, right? And it's not a judgment. I'm not casting judgment because that's the society we live in. We live in a society where we need both mother and father to be out there. And let's not talk about the single moms out there or the single dads out there, right? They need to probably sometimes work 2, 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. So we're living in different times. We're not living, in the hillbilly days when, it's like the wife stays home and milking the cows and blah, blah, blah. No, we're not living in that kind of society, but we are living in a time where the internet and the digital world allows us options. It allows us options to be able to be at home. All right. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the options that mothers have and fathers. All right. If you don't want to be out, but I mean, I'm a mother. So I'm talking to the mothers, right? Maybe they're single dads or maybe dads out there who also want to work from home and not have to miss Billy Bob's or whoever's cricket game or football game. All right. You don't want to, I mean, we're missing all games right now. But the reality is, we don't want to be the parent that is on the outside, not knowing what's going on with our kid. All right. We want to be that parent that has the most active part in our children's lives. But today, we have options. We have huge options for you to be able to, yes, bring in the bacon, as they say, as well as be there to raise the kids. All right. And that is something that, a lot of mothers, I mean, I struggled with it because it was just like, okay, what do I do? All right. That's a question that we always ask. What will I do if I don't work outside of the home? Well, the global pandemic has demonstrated to us that there are very few jobs where you need to be outside of your home. All right. So long as you have reliable internet and a computer, there's very little that you need to go out for to work. All right, we got people on the oil rigs, they've got to go out. We've got our postal service, we've got our general services, right? Societal services, water, and all of those things. But you do have much more options today than maybe the women of yesteryear. They didn't have those options because the technology wasn't there as yet. So now, thanks to the internet and thanks to digital marketing and thanks to so many things that you can do online, and thanks to businesses online, there are many things that you could apply yourself to using your same skills, your talent, your knowledge, and everything. But now you get to work from the comfort of your home. All right. And when you're working from the comfort of your home, and this is not a cliche because a lot of people they talk about working from the comfort of your home. Maybe your home isn't comfortable, right? But working from home where you now have authority over your children, where you are able to guide and monitor and see what's going on with them, where you are the authority in your home and not granny, tanty, an aunt, whoever. You, the parent, and then you have that control over your child and what it is that they're doing. Yes, it's going to be a balancing act at first, but as you smooth things out, and believe it or not, I remember a good friend of mine saying that you're starting your business at the best time. Your children are young. All right. Your children are young because you see what happens when you start an online business is you are going to have to put in some hours. All right. You will put in the hours. But you know what? When your children are young, 5 minutes to them seems like 5 hours. And you could dedicate 5 concentrated minutes to them. No phones, no TV, nothing. And that feels like 5 hours to them. But what happens with our kids as they get older, they want more time. All right. They want a day. Right. I'm at the stage where I need to give a day to one of my kids. Right. Or I give a couple hours. This weekend, I gave one of my kids half an hour. We did a little tea party. All right. We got some cookies. We got some tea. We put it in a little teapot and we had some tea on the porch. That didn't take 45 minutes and she was happy for the day. She got to spend time with mommy. And when your kids are younger, so I'm really speaking to those younger moms in a sense that you can be very flexible with your time, but they see you. They're there with you. They're in this journey with you together. This last Saturday, I was on a women's power hour, and we talked about some of those things that moms feel this guilt. All right. Moms feel this guilt about working from home because they have to work so hard. Well, you also feel guilt when you have to go out to work because you're not there for them. And the impact of that is even greater because they are now left in the care of somebody else who, yes, you trust from a physical, they could take care of your children physically. They're not going to let the children burn down the house or whatever the case may be. But what's going on in here? What are they developing? What are the morals that they're developing? What are the things that will eventually impact society 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now? A lot of the challenges that we have today have nothing to do with, economics or anything, but it's really about the people. All right. When you have a people who, they don't stop to let an old granny cross the road and they're totally oblivious to that, or somebody is lying down on the side of the road and they can't even say let's give them a cup of water. When you've gotten to a society where everybody is for themselves and nobody cares about anybody else, we can't sit back and say, well, we have a whole generation of uncaring people because they didn't know what it was. All right. And I'm not saying this to cast blame, but it's like, we can't look at young people and say, well, they should know better. Where are they going to learn it from? That's what we have to take ownership of. So we as mothers, young mothers, or I shouldn't say young mothers, but mothers of young children now, we have to take ownership of the next generation because they are not going to learn any more than we either teach them or don't teach them. Because whether we take an active role in their development or we literally just leave them to flounder, it will still be our responsibility for leaving them that way and putting that out into society. And the reality is today we have options as mothers. We do not have to stay out of the workplace. We can be home and we can raise the next generation so that society starts to turn around. It's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen with one switch. It doesn't happen with one little, let's give everybody something. No, societal problems start in the home, and we've got to change the home. And the home is where the mother is. All right. So I know this has been a very different type of life, but I'm speaking from my heart because this weekend, a lot of things were going on in terms of, parenting and motherhood, and all of these things were kind of making me reassess so many different things and making me really see that, yes, regardless of what anybody says, a mother's place is home, but you don't have to choose between career and your family. You can do it both, because I have. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.